Confirmed. Broken arrow.
Broken arrow? That means that an American's been overrun, causing every combat aircraft for support. My God.
Hello and welcome, guys. Broken Arrow has now been out for a week, and I thought a really good way to review it would be to do one of those classic Steam checkbox styles you see on every game everywhere. This one's actually from Manor Lords, which is a great game, by the way. Not at all like Broken Arrow, but you know, I love it anyway. Broken Arrow, however, is currently my favorite game. It is living up to expectations. But to review it properly, I thought I'd enlist the help of an absolute top bloke, Beagle, and we hope you enjoy our opinions on the game. And I guess what we're going to do today is the Steam-styled checkbox review. Like we've both said, we don't really fancy the actual, typically, the actual format of it, but it's probably going to be better if we actually discuss the points, and that way you don't just get a simple tick. Well, you do, but you also get Lima and Beagle's opinion, which I'm sure you're gagging to see.
That's right. That's the key to doing anything. Even if it's a bad idea when someone else does it, just be built different and just do it better. That's how it always works.
Well,
it's never a bad idea.
Exactly. That's why I thought I'd start the YouTube channel, because you guys are great, but I'm going to do better.
I cannot be mad. That's why I started doing XCOM streaming and stuff like that. So I cannot be mad at all. Same thing.
Got to branch out, right? Diversify the risk.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm a one-trick pony at the minute, and it's just Broken Arrow. So, have you got the first tab open, which is the graphics bit?
Yes.
Perfect. You forget what reality is. Beautiful, good, decent, bad. Don't look too long at it, or MS. DOS. I don't actually know what that is, do you?
No, how old are you?
27.
You don't know MS-DOS? I'm 34, 35 this year. It's
you
like
old man.
Ancient operating system. Yeah, it's ancient operating system before Windows 95. It's before you had a graphical interface.
You see, I wasn't blessed with a computer at such a young age.
If you ever seen the black command prompts that run sometimes when you run certain programs, that was the whole operating system. And my brother taught me how to use it. He's 10 years older than me, and he's very techie. And he told me you always have to type in "thank you" after you ask the computer to do anything, which he didn't. But he taught me good manners.
Yeah, for anyway, when AI takes over the world, and you gotta, they'll be like, "Spare him. He said thank you."
That's right. Well, do you want to go first on the graphics or me?
You know what, Beagle? You are the veteran of YouTube and RTS. I'll let you say your opinion first.
Thank you. Well, it's definitely better than MS-DOS. I don't know. Like, it's certainly not like forget what reality is in terms of just fidelity.
No, absolutely not.
Because like I think you see like it's not like the photorealism, but I think for what it is and the game it is, it's incredibly well detailed. Like you have a ton of detail on the models. Especially if you compare this to something like Wargame. And I think the overall experience, maybe like each individual part of the graphics may not be super, I don't know, 4K or whatever, but the overall experience is very well crafted. I think the post-processing, the VFX, the visual design, I think it's a very good looking game for what it is. I think it's very well done.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think, especially you compare it to everything else on the market. Again, not to keep talking about Warno, but I mean, that is the closest competition, isn't it?
It is.
Exactly. But I think beautiful in that case. It isn't, obviously, it isn't hyper realistic. That probably, I'm not sure anyone would be able to run it if it was. But honestly, the flares look great. The bombs, the nukes look beautiful. Who doesn't love a good nuke?
Yeah, it always jump scares me. It's kind of great.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what they're designed for. So yeah,
to frighten you, nothing else.
Well, there we go. Nice and easy one. Not a competition. Both going beautiful.
Yep. Agreed. Beautiful looking.
Beautiful it is. Nice. Next one. Gameplay.
That's easy for me. It's like whatever the top is. Very, very good is as high as this goes, apparently.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. I'd say good. Better than very good, but that's not an option.
Yes. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I've been waiting for it. It's just one of the best.
Yeah, what's your wife say about
I don't
that?
usually She's actually super supportive. Very supportive.
Oh, lovely.
But also I haven't been seen as much. Yeah. But
yeah, go
but
read your book in the garden, love. See ya.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
like it's like again when I love these kinds of like milsim kind of games, if I can put this in that genre, but it's not really milsimmy, but tactical military type games, let's call it that.
Sure.
And I usually don't care for realism as much as I care for immersion, because there is a difference, and I think this is an incredibly immersive, authentic feeling game. It's got great design. They knocked it out of the park. Their design is very inspired, and I think it just comes together. We're not going on about it forever. It just comes together into this full package that just absolutely nails what you want to have when you're playing like a modern warfare game. Like, it makes you feel that modern commander fantasy as a video gamer. I think it's amazing. I love it.
Again, not to sound like I'm just copying you, but completely agree. Well, this is going to be short with basically your opinion and me saying, "Yep, agreed."
We needed to do this with people who like we hate each other. Like, we have totally opposite opinions. We needed a hater.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to start beef with a YouTuber. Who have we got?
Yeah.
Hippie. Yeah, hippie. Go on. Fucking hate you, mate.
What? This is always hard. I can never pick favorites, but to spice it up, then can you pick like your favorite part of the gameplay, or just something you really like about the gameplay so far to highlight? Then, like one specific part.
That is a good question. I wish I'd actually prepared a better answer for this because, again, it sounds like a cop out, but all of it. I mean, I love the build up. I love the start. I love getting basically my signature start is getting snipers out and sticking them in cheeky positions because I really obviously, I don't like going in blind. That is something that is obviously quite trained into me. So, yeah, going in blind's an absolute no-no. So I do that at the start. I love the mid-battle. I love the end of the phase. Like we were texting the other week, whatever. It is the action. People forget that the phase is really what makes you win. The end of the phase. So that's the only point you get points at. So a lot of people are obviously a bit impulsive and reactive, and it's obviously clear. Like when a dog sees a squirrel, you just want to. You see a big armored push, you want to just absolutely decimate it. But sometimes you're not in the best position to do that. So it's better to wait, maybe save some points, and do a double bombing run as opposed to just one fighter that's going to get shot down on its own. So I like the end of phase. I like towards the end. Obviously, action always picks up end of phase 3. That's when you've got the most shebangs on offer, and but well, okay, I mean, fair play for both of us. Gameplay, you know what, Sub-Zero, even better than very good. How's that?
I was like, super cool.
Yeah,
all right, I definitely ticking that, whatever's highest.
Nice. Next, audio.
Next,
how's about I go first this time? Because
go on.
It looks like I'm just copying
then I'll be copying you.
Exactly. Well, we seem to be agreeing a lot, so hopefully. Audio. Right, okay, well, let's break it down. Music, I actually quite like it. It seems to be... Obviously, I imagine, obviously, you've got the Vanguard, as all YouTubers do. Yeah, of course. And including that is the soundtrack. And you know what? I like it because it's not like you wouldn't ever listen to it just, on Spotify. But for the game, it works really, really well. I think it really does work perfectly. I enjoy the intro music and stuff like that. So music aside, sound effects. Personally, I think brilliant. So I'd be tempted to say eargasm for that one because the explosions are very good. They sound great. They scale very well with distance, which is actually something I don't think many games do because you either hear gunfire or you don't. Whereas this, you hear distant gunfire, the echo through the trees and stuff like that, which just, it's that nice little attention to detail. And maybe that's what this game is actually very, very good at. The attention to detail is superb, I'd say, which actually kind of goes back to the gameplay point with us saying it's phenomenal. And then, well, to be honest, that's literally all you care about, isn't it? A bit of the music, the sound effects, and I mean, what else? Am I missing something?
No, do you know what? You're actually so right that I've really been appreciating the audio, and you just put it very succinctly. Because in games like PUBG or Tarkov or anything, in shooters, you always notice how important the audio is, even in Counter-Strike, to tell where your enemy is. And it's funny, I hadn't thought about it consciously, but I've recently been more and more, as I get more experience with the game, been reacting to stuff off screen based on how close or far it sounds and what it is. Like I'll hear a sniper shot and I'll go, "Oh, there's a sniper to my right underneath the camera."
Yeah.
And they've got a recon team there. And it's funny, that's something you usually don't see done that well. Like you said, of the distance scaling in an RTS game. You're dead on right. That's so impressive, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Really well done.
So the question lies, do we put eargasm or very good? Because it's definitely I'm now deaf. Although actually it is very loud. So if you're recording, definitely turn it down.
Yeah, you do have to. You have to have separate tracks if you can.
I don't know if you saw my first videos, but that's where I went wrong. Here's the novice, inexperienced YouTuber coming out of me, where the music was too loud, the explosions were too loud, nobody could hear a single thing I was saying. And I also used Steam recording as opposed to OBS. What a rookie error.
Yeah, you learned that one.
That was awful.
That's the worst feeling when you record something and you're so happy with yourself and you go to listen back to it and you don't have separate audio tracks and you can't split it up and you're like, oh my god, like I can't work with it. It feels very bad.
Absolutely.
But onto your topic, yeah, like see, I was gonna go with very good. I was gonna go like, the 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 until you mentioned the thing that reminded me they've done such a good job with the overall gameplay experience in the way the audio ties into it. Where it's not just it's a good cinematic experience and it sounds cool and the explosions are exciting, but actually they've done it so well to make it part of the gameplay and make it useful to the player that I have to go top marks there as well.
Yeah.
So you've convinced me.
Well, exactly. Well, I was tempted to say eargasm is something that's reserved for very, very special games, for audio tracks and like that. And you know what? Actually thinking about it as well, Su-57 has got such a unique noise for the aircraft. The airframe is obviously quite different to anything else. But anyway, the interesting part about the Su-57 is the jet engine noise. Actually, I'll put a clip in now. Boom, done.
Editing.
Yeah, amazing editing, yeah. But actually, I just imagine that it's so hard to replicate in the game that I was going to go very good as well. But the more we talk about it, yeah, it's hard to give it anything other than eargasm.
Yeah, in the press beta, I got to play SOF, and the little birds just sounded like other helicopters. And on release, I caught the sound of them, and they sound like little birds now. So again, yeah, we got to go top marks. They put in the
top
detail.
Top marks it is. God, flexing with your press release. God damn you. I emailed them. I was like, can I have a go? And I got no reply.
But see, with your size now, if you went back then, I bet they would have got you in.
Well, fingers crossed. I mean, what, like almost 800 subs within, how long's the game been out? A week? I'll take that.
A week plus?
Yeah, a week.
You're booming.
Well,
yeah,
I did have a bit of a foundation, but yeah, whatever. Let's not brag.
Well, pretty big guy around town, but
yeah, people know me. My apartment smells like mahogany. Nice. Insert Ron Swanson.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, nice. Audience: is it aimed at kids, teens, adults, or grandmas?
Okay, I mean, do you want to go first or me again? Were we switching up?
Flip a coin. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Off you go.
Great. I mean, by the ways that, like, media works worldwide, I guess it's for kids because you don't see blood. But if we're being real, like, it probably shouldn't be. It's war games and violence probably shouldn't be. But anyway, can't be on that discussion.
Absolutely not.
I think you could give this to teens and up quite easily, but it's definitely aimed at adults. Grandma can play too. I think as long as it's appropriate for your child to learn about like multi-domain battle space operations and isn't too scared of that, I think they can play it.
Well, the problem is Granny won't recognize any of the units. If she plays a World War II RTS like Steel Division, then she'll be all over it.
Well, hold on, because it's 2025, so I think Granny can recognize, at this point, the grannies of this era can recognize like the M113 and stuff like that.
F117, Nighthawk, Cold War, yeah.
BMP ones and stuff like that. We've got some old favorites from the news,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah. From when they were all bricking themselves that nukes were going to start flying over London, and well, Australia was probably safe, wasn't it? Your grandparents weren't worried, but London, Washington, New York, and basically the entire of Europe was bricking it. Always getting videos of the massed Soviet formations rolling over the hills.
Yeah, well, not to tangent us forever on our
Yeah.
life stories, but my grandparents were British.
Oh, right, okay.
On one side. And so I heard about like the Blitz from my grandma a bit and stuff like that. And then
cool.
my mum told me about the Cold War stuff, but they came over and then they came over to Australia, and my dad's Australian. But
well,
yeah, my granddad was a Navy captain, so I've got a little bit of military tradition in the family, just not me.
Yeah, shippers. Good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, good bit of history there. I mean, obviously Australia was involved in the war as well, but I just can't imagine Russia caring too much during the Cold War.
Yeah,
about
hopefully not. Yeah.
Where we get next? Should we go London, Washington? No problem, my friend. We go Sydney, mate.
Yeah, just drive the T-76
Tasmania
over there.
Fuck him.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Hobbiton in New Zealand. Right. Anyway, so off topic. This has gone from analyzing Broken Arrow to just talking about global politics and absolutely nothing to do with the game whatsoever.
This is you coming in with a plan to keep it focused, and me, as you keep calling me the veteran YouTuber, just fucking up your plans. I apologize.
Stay on target.
Stay on target.
Yeah.
All right. To be honest, it basically ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, bit vague.
Yeah,
but
you could serve it to your kids.
Yeah.
You could. Maybe you shouldn't.
I'd say we're both adults, but you know.
I think so.
Yeah, well, might not sound like it to anyone watching, but yeah. Right, PC requirements. Now, yeah, this is. What have you got? What's your setup?
Oh, I don't.
Putting you on the spot.
I'm bad with tech.
Okay,
yeah,
we will edit this in.
Yeah. Do you want me to go look it up? I can get you the specs, and you can edit it in.
You know what?
Didn't have a pause.
Yeah, we'll text it afterwards. No worries. I'd probably stick a picture or something of the little Virgin computers we've got.
You can back it up, pop it up on the stream. Here, I'll text it to you right now, and then you can edit this in.
Nice.
Bang.
I
built a pretty big, good new computer last year after my last one died. I did notice the difference a little bit. Because I've heard other people saying the game can run a bit poorly for them, and have some optimization problems here and there. But I haven't been able to judge that anymore because this is the humble brag. But my PC's doing pretty good now, so I don't have to worry too much, which is good.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, my graphics card is the same. It the 3070 Ti Super? It's one of the two. I can't remember. So yeah, we'll have to edit it in. But I think it's safe to say that this game is not a walk in the park to run.
No,
especially with top graphics. I'll be honest. I struggle with the top graphics. Mine are close to the maximum, but not quite. So. I'd be tempted to say it's not NASA level, of course not. But as we said, if the graphics were even better, like the top tier, then it would have to be. I'd probably be tempted to say Rich Boy.
I feel like, and I'm bad at judging this, so I'll defer to you because I haven't had the problems anymore. But I would say on lower settings, fast, and on higher settings, Rich Boy sounds about right to me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it does depend what your thing is, and obviously how much bad graphics you're willing to tolerate. But this is one of the sort of minuses for Broken Arrow. It isn't the easiest game to run at all.
I'd agree. And anyone who wants to get into YouTube or streaming, that's going to take up more CPU. So then a game that's more intensive like this, you're going to have a hard time running both at once because it just makes everything more taxing.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this is another thing that I've noticed myself. Sometimes you get brilliant frames, absolutely no problems running it. On other times, seemingly randomly, especially with my slightly weaker, although it is obviously a massive beastie machine that runs everything else perfectly, you just randomly get lag to an unplayable level. And if you restart the game, it goes. But it's just obviously unfortunate that that does sometimes, although it is rarely, occur. And I know that a lot of people from Discord, my fans, cheers guys, have had issues as well. So yeah, it's a shame.
You must be new. You're still calling them your fans, not your haters or your rats.
My followers, dude, my tribe.
But yeah, like I'm armchair game dev hat on, but maybe it feels like the game's a little bit could be better optimized here and there.
Sure.
But yeah, worth running if you can, but definitely one of the minuses is it can be a little hard to run sometimes. Yes,
absolutely. Next, game size. Well, that's a straightforward one. We can just give you a number. It's
90 gig.
90 gig indeed. That's yeah, you're quick off the mark there. It was taking me a bit longer to go through the menu. Properties.
Yeah, while you were talking, I got to pull it up.
Well, actually, for me, it's 89.01 gigs. So
you're being specific, yes.
Technically, well, exact. actually.
Yeah, well, you gotta be. So it's like a small AAA game these days. I'd say is that size.
Oh, exactly.
Like
I mean, it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it, these days? Because games do keep getting bigger and bigger. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, they do. This is one of those parts of the us being like, oh, these Steam checkbox reviews, we don't care for them. It's like, oh, whatever size it is. But maybe someone listening to this is like, oh, I have 88 gig, I can't play.
Yeah. Well, ideally, you want a buffer to give you to make sure your computer doesn't keep crashing through memory overload.
Yeah. Well, we'll rate it. I'd rate it big then. I don't know what on the scale here. It's definitely not old fashioned. Doesn't fit on the DVD.
Well, actually, I'd actually go a step further because most people, I assume, the average consumer is going to have 500 gigs of storage. So yeah, actually, probably a bit more because that's obviously 20%. So we'll say 10% of your 1 terabyte hard drive. So okay, slight difference in opinions, but hey, it depends on what tech you've got.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, that scale is funny because one of them is just like a fact. Like, yeah, I mean, it will about eat 10% of your 1 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, I just go with that one. You're right.
Well, hey, I was hoping we'd have a difference of opinion for once.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. Big. I go with big. Yeah.
You're wrong, mate. You don't know what you're talking about. You're full of shit. Called out. My new enemy. My new rival.
Oh shit! How do you feel about cursing? Is every swear allowed on your recordings?
Well, I'm not monetized yet, so far, yes.
Oh, fuck yeah! Okay.
Whereas I know you are, and you might get strikes and warnings for it. So I guess.
Nah, I'm all right.
All right.
The trick apparently is don't swear for the first 15 seconds of a video, and you're pretty good.
Okay, well, that's what editing's for. So happy days.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, difficulty. Now, interesting. Okay, I do want to hear your opinion first because you've had the press release. Again, you jammy. You've been recording on the betas. You've obviously been waiting for this game for 3 years, whereas I'm a bit fresher to it. And actually, for me, the difference is that I've been learning the game whilst recording. So I did play the betas, but honestly, not much. A handful of games because it wasn't obviously out for that long, and I just wasn't as hyped up. I think towards the end of the open beta is actually when I started to be like, you know what, actually this is something here. So I've basically had to learn the game on the fly. Obviously, watched YouTube channels, yours as well, of course, it's a bit of sort of planning, but nothing prepares you for the steep learning curve, I'd say. And the commentating at the same time. Because I know an option is to obviously record and then commentate later, but I've been doing it on the fly, which I think I prefer doing for the time being. What about you?
Yeah. Talking about like the streamer side of it or just the difficulty side of the game in general?
Both. Why not?
Well, let's start with the streamer side real quick then. I've been doing both post commentary and commentary on the fly for games for ages, and it's definitely easier to focus on playing, and then talk because you're dedicating part of your brain to commentary. So I always play things worse.
Part
when
of
I'm
your
talking,
built-in
'cause I'm not focusing
CPU.
enough. That's right. Yeah, I'm not multi-cored. I'm not multi-threaded. I can only do one thing at a time. But yeah, in either case, yeah. But it works in either way. But it is easier for me to be like play the game well. I'll still do it if I live commentate, but I'll play the game worse. But as for the game itself, just for like everyone playing it and difficulty in that sense, I agree with you that it has a learning curve. I was actually I was talking to LDE invited me to talk with him, and LDE, my friend Eat Machine, and nice guy, this came up, and I was surprised to be. They were like, no, you can learn it, or maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was my YouTube commenters have been like, no, like this game's pretty easy to learn. Like my friends, one guy said like, oh, my friends get into it and they say how easy it is to learn. They never played anything like it. I was like, what, this game? Like,
Yeah,
I played.
what?
I played all sorts of games. I played tons of RTS since I was a kid. I'm 34. And when I first got into this, I found it really overwhelming and hard to play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
And this, I've really had to push through and get good with it because it was worth it. But I think it depends how you get into it. Like certain play styles, like if you try to play infantry heavy or SOF heavy straight away, you're going to get fucking mulched. And you'll go like, this game is so hard. But maybe if you just want to play tank heavy, it might be easier. There's ways to get into this game, but if you don't know them, it's quite a steep learning curve, and it's very punishing and overwhelming.
Yeah, well,
because...
interesting. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Shocking, I know.
Ooh, here we go.
Tanks, I think they're hard to master as well. I mean, obviously, the fundamentals are you drive a tank, it shoots, and that's it. I mean, a tank's a tank. You can take more hits, whatever. However, you try to do a cheap armored rush, and you know what? It takes 5 seconds for you to get obliterated by 2 helicopters. So, this is where I disagree. I think even knowing how to use your tanks well, obviously, it's very easy. It is very easy to just make them go forward. But you know, you learn things that they're much slower through forest, for example, which obviously makes sense. But it's things that you don't realize how much of an impact a forest or cover infantry in forest can actually make. And yeah, they can absolutely decimate your game plan because of your complete lack of experience or being a new guy to the game, which is obviously fairly understandable. But yeah, I honestly think the only easy thing to play is artillery, because you're in the back lines, you don't have to worry too much about direct contact, and it's less micro-intensive, let's be real. Being a supportive player is quite easy. All you got to do is get supply up. But even then, another part of steep learning curve is knowing that counter batteries exist, and the fact that as soon as you fire your artillery, someone's queued up MLRS or cruise missile to hit that position. So if you don't move them, they're gone. So honestly,
they've made this beautiful fire mission menu with 3 different lengths of fire mission, and you should only use the short one.
That is actually what I learned yesterday, because I thought medium I'd be able to get away with. Nope. So yeah, I think all of us are still learning. I'm definitely still learning.
Yeah, same.
And
I'd agree with you actually. I'd agree with you that like the whole game is hard to get into. Some things are easier than others, but I do agree with you, and I think that's one of the best things we can do, not to sound like we're angels or anything, but as like YouTuber, streamer people, is actually help people get into the game.
Hashtag
because
influencers.
holy shit. Yeah, hashtag influencer. But like, holy shit, like we can do a lot, I think, to help people get into the game, because it's very easy to get into this game, have a bad experience, and never play it again. But maybe you could have got into it. Like, I see a lot of people be like, oh, I'm too old for this game. It's like, no, you're not. You can learn it, but you got to like approach it the right way.
Well, I suppose, you know what, leading on to that, perfect time to give a shout out to my tactics series, which with me, Lima, the Lima Academy, in which I will be actually trying to help you guys out, because obviously, like I said, I'm still learning things, and you know what, it's nice when people share things that they learn, and Beagle obviously does a lot of really good stuff. Like, I comment on his videos saying that, well, like the last one about the crayon deck that you have, I still learn a good thing or two, and the main thing that I picked up from that video, we should probably link it, edit.
Bang.
Yeah, bang. Is well, you were talking about helicopters and tanks, which are actually both super micro-intensive, because they're some of your most valuable units, and what you got to do is micro both, which is super difficult. So most people won't have the capacity to micro tanks and helicopters, and definitely not air support, as in bombers, strike fighters on top of that. So basically avoid, don't completely stop doing it, but avoid bringing them out at the same time, doing a big heli or big tank rush at the same time, because you won't have the capacity.
Mm-hmm. I think that's for one, I want to go to Lima Academy. That sounds interesting. For two, I think actually you brought up a good point to make then about the difficulty. Is I would say at least early on, the difficulty of this game, the strategy game, is not just the strategy of the battles against your opponents. It's like being strategic about yourself and against yourself. It's one of those games, I said this about Tarkov 2, where you're kind of fighting yourself and your bad habits.
Yeah.
You're trying to make yourself disciplined mentally because your intuitive habits, example in Tarkov, you get spooked, you run, you sidestep, you can't sit still, you can't get an ambush off.
Absolutely.
You run out, you panic and you die. This game is like the RTS version of that, where if you give in to your anxieties and fears in this game, you will play worse. And you have to kind of learn to work around your limitations. Like one quick example I'll do, because we won't sit in this forever, of course, is like you just said, you can't be everywhere at once. And I think it's very easy if you don't think in that way to instead play this game and be like, I'm just not good. I need to keep practicing and get good so I can do everything at once. But the way you want to go of this game actually is to realize, no, I'm human. And so then, like we were just saying, learn that habit of, okay, I won't try to play 2 different high micro units at once. I'll build a whole deck that is strategically around 90% of my deck I don't have to worry about, 10% I micro. And you've got to be strategic in how you approach yourself about this game. You know what I mean? So there's very deceptive amounts of difficulty here to master and become even probably like above average at this game, I'd say. It's hard.
100%. And this is, again, a thing that I talked about in a previous video. Link here. The thing is, so obviously, as a serving officer in the British Armed Forces, the biggest difference here to obviously real life is the fact that there's commanders of multiple levels. So there's someone to do the macro, there's someone to do the middle command, basically 2-up intent, the 2-up command, the 1-up command, and obviously the commander of the individual sections. So you have like 3, or actually, again, in reality, a lot more people that can sit back, have an overview. You've got someone controlling the macro, the overall plan, you've got people controlling small groups, and obviously that just takes off so much workload from the game. Whereas in the game, you're doing all 3. You're the general, you're the officer, and you're the infantry commander, the corporal in the sections. So it's a lot to do.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And you're handling logistics, because that's an important part of this game.
Yeah, and logistics, and again, of course.
Again, I think it's easy to like look at this game and again go, oh, I can't even keep my supplies and get my units repaired. I'm so bad. But no, like that's part of the challenge of this game is in all the stuff's going on in a 45-minute multiplayer match, prioritizing your time. Exactly. You can't be everywhere at once. And I've been learning this week. For instance, I won't do something funny like see a tow jeep and go micro against a tank for 2 minutes to try and bully it, because I go, I need to spend those 2 minutes macroing right now. I need to do my supplies.
Exactly.
So you do have to be everything at once.
Yeah, exactly. Logistics is a good point. That's a complete separate regiment in the army. It's an entire specialization in the Air Force and the Navy. Another thing is obviously you're an Air Force liaison officer. You're also a ballistic missile coordinator. So, you're literally, and you're the JTAC calling in the close air support. So, Christ, you have got a lot of hats to wear whilst you're trying to battle it out. So anyway, I think we've gone on long enough about difficulty.
Yes.
My voice is starting to go. Nah, just kidding. What are we going to say then?
Significant brain usage at least. It's not easy to learn unless you're born for this. It is hard to master. Significant brain usage at the least. What would you say?
Yeah, I would agree with that, because there are aspects of easy to learn, hard to master for sure. But you know what? Even when I'd say it's going to be one of these games that even if you understand absolutely everything, you know what every single bomb does, you know the range of every single unit, you are still going to be microing the fuck out of the game, which is sapping a lot of your brain and capacity. So, yeah, significant brain usage. But hey, you know what? A shout out to fellow YouTubers. When you're doing commentary, on top of that, it is fucking difficult.
Yeah.
So maybe
But plus side,
I'll start recording and maybe commentating later. I'll try that out.
plus side, all of that makes it a really fucking awesome competitive PvP game, though, I think, because once you've
100%.
mastered yourself and the game mechanics, it does feel like an incredibly strategic game against each other, I think. So that's cool.
Definitely. Mate.
And I'll throw in as well, just briefly, because I know we spent a long time on this tab, but just briefly, also the single player and the multiplayer are very different. I haven't played much of the single player, but what I did play in the betas, it's balanced in a way that's very fucking punishing, and it's a different beast. And if just a shout out to people, if you come into this game, or warning I should say, if you come into this game, don't expect the SP to actually be like the easy tutorial for multiplayer. I think the multiplayer is easier. Low elo multiplayer players are probably going to be easier to learn the game on than single player, as crazy as that sounds. The official campaign, anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's an interesting take. I rate that. Yeah. No, fair enough. All right. Yeah. Enough time spent on difficulty. What a long discussion. Sorry, guys, for getting sidetracked so much. But we hope you find it interesting, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, it's funny that you mentioned the campaign, the single player campaign, because the next tab is story.
I haven't played it.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I've just been spamming the multiplayer.
Yeah, same. Well, that's the thing. You record 5 videos to make one good one, don't you? Give or take. Give or take.
That's how you be a YouTuber. That's right.
That's the YouTuber life. Yeah, people disconnect, and it's can be quite frustrating and painful sometimes. So, guys, your subs and likes make it worthwhile. Thank you.
Every sub you send keeps Lima playing Broken Arrow.
Well, I got to make money after I leave the armed forces somehow.
That's right. You got to keep them off the streets. We can make this work. So obviously we can't talk about the story much.
Not much
campaign,
but I do love the background.
Yeah, talk about that then. Go on.
Well, sure. I mean, for those who don't know, I'm sure most people watching this already or all over it and have played more story than us. So, obviously, it's set in basically the war starts in the Baltics, so around Lithuania, Kaliningrad, which is a part of Russia, not actually connected to Russia, and I've been there. Really cool place. Yeah, Latvia, Lithuania. What else did I say? Parts of Belarus, and I'm not sure if it actually touches Poland, but maybe it does. Somebody who knows this game better can tell us if it does. I think so, but not sure. And obviously a bit of escalation, bit of the classic America and Russia antagonizing each other, which leads to full-scale tactical nuclear war. And I think that's a pretty good summary, to be honest, without spoiling it too much, of course, of what happens. And, I mean, personally, I love it. And unfortunately, the saddest part is that is very possible. And we do already see it. Without talking too much politics, we're not a political channel, but we see it happening right now, which is kind of scary. Yeah.
Yes. And it's been interesting for this game's development and some of the reception to it and people talking about it. It's hard to separate.
It's hard to avoid talking about, sure.
Yeah, but I won't drag us into it either. But I mean, I agree to just as fiction, as fantasy, as a video game. Yeah, I mean, the setting's very interesting to me. I love that it's modern compared to games like war games that are a bit older.
Yeah.
And I can be cheeky here, and I can say with our multiplayer experience, I think the story of the multiplayer matches is often very good. I think I don't know if I get away with this, but I think the pacing of the multiplayer matches is actually very good. I think the way it builds from opening skirmishes with recon and stuff into higher engagement, into like big percentages at the end, makes each match quite a memorable experience a lot of the time. Like, you get the dropouts and the cheaters, and that kind of ruins it a lot. And some matches are blowouts. But the matches that are kind of work as intended, where you're not having all that awful stuff happen, I'd say are pretty good, memorable experiences. And I think it's cool. It's well paced.
You know what? I actually didn't think about the story of multiplayer matches. I'd never thought about that. So yeah, nice fresh opinion. Now that you mention it, I completely see that. It is what you'd expect. You'd expect a bit of frontline reconnaissance setup, gather some information, and then engage the battle gradually. Because again, in reality, it's very rare that you will have a full army unit ready to face the threat. The problem is obviously that you need to mobilize reserves, bring up, your formations are going to be spread out, obviously, to not make them easy bombing targets. So massing your units to take objectives is going to take time. And you know what? Yeah, you bang on. The fact that the game allows you to do that, again, adds a level of authenticity. And sorry, well, I lost my train of thought. Adds a level of authenticity, and yeah, it does make it memorable. You're right. You're absolutely spot on.
I think it's because you bring up the recon stuff and how you go recon first. I think, yeah, like that level of this kind of blends into the gameplay from before, I guess. Or if we talk about gameplay, yeah, like, I can't remember. I don't know if we did yet. But the point being, kind of related to this, that yeah, like the way this game makes logistics and travel times and multi-role and all these things actually matter is very relevant to what it's doing. It's not just living off the aesthetic of tactical military. It's actually legitimately very strategic and tactical, at least in my opinion. And that's a very big breath of fresh air for an RTS game these days for me. And yeah, it does make the matches very interesting stories to play through in that sense, because it's not just smashing each other with whatever OP units are that. Like you are doing all these interesting different roles. Yeah. Great pacing.
Or just 100 tanks versus 100 tanks. I mean, that's kind of boring. Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to see once, but then it gets boring. And actually, you know what? Even if you love an American start with basically 100 helicopters, then guess what? Black Hawk Down. that's the intro of Black Hawk Down, isn't it? So again, yeah, there is story even in multiplayer, and I'm sure the comments can tell us what the actual campaign is like, because yeah, I guess we've been too busy to touch it. So you know what? I'm actually going to go lovely for the story.
I don't know if I could get away with it, because I think if this was an actual Steam review, and I think I'm doing bullshit. I'm doing spin when I say that for story. I think I can get away with it, but
just
I know if I wrote that in an actual review, people would be like, "Yeah, but what about we're talking about the SP campaign?"
Yeah, sure.
But if we can get away with not saying that, yeah, I'll go with lovely. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, in that case, take our opinions with a pinch of salt on this one.
We're just nice for the game.
Right, this video is getting long. Damn, son. I honestly, you remember I wrote to you half an hour, but I'm actually enjoying this discussion so much, and we're dragging on to the hour mark. So, Christ, good chat, Mr. Beagle. Good chat.
It's how it goes. Always expect everything you think in YouTubing and streaming will take twice as long as you think it will.
Well, to be honest, yeah, I was like, if we have time, why don't we go for a game straight afterwards? But I'm not going to have the time, I'm afraid. But next time.
We should play soon. Yeah, we should play soon.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have more checkboxes you want to spin through, or?
Yes, I do. Should we try and blitz through them?
Yes. Yes, okay. Go on.
Nice. Game time. That's the next one. And I think it's pretty straightforward. The battles take 45 minutes. The preparation takes about 15. Mm-hmm. So 1 hour for a multiplayer game is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Which is average.
Solid chunk of time. Yeah.
And actually, for some games, probably short, because I think it's rare that you just play 1 hour and clock off.
Yeah. So I'd say short to average, because for a play session, short for an individual match. But
well, you say short. I will say average.
This in here. Yeah. I will throw this in here about trying to derail us for too long. Is I've heard related to this, you can't save in the single player missions, and some of them can get quite long. So bear that in mind in relation to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Price. Interesting. If you're Swiss, if you're from Switzerland, you are not going to be happy with the price. That's for sure, because you have got the most expensive Broken Arrow. Yeah, everyone's seen this website, the Steam DB info, which looks at the equivalent price in Swiss francs is 55 Swiss francs, which is about 70 American dollars. Ouch.
Oh, wow.
And then Britain is second, for fuck's sake. And Australia is somewhere, is actually just below America. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know.
Yeah, we're about $100 AUD, which is like
73 according to this.
Right now.
But you're talking about Vanguard, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course I am, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So the Vanguard, you add an extra $10, $15 on top of that as well. American dollars, obviously. Here's the website. You can have a look and look at your currency. So what do you reckon? I think it's a bit high. But proper worth it.
It's definitely worth the price on this scale of boxes I'm reading. But I would agree that it's a bit high. It's like kind of like what you expect from a modern like Call of Duty, like a quadruple A, triple A title.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's coming from indie guys, so you can kind of balk at it. That said, it's definitely worth the price to me, for sure.
Well, exactly. That's what you got to think about. You are supporting an indie developer, and you know what? They've brought in such a breath of fresh air that I'm actually happy to chuck the extra 10 for the Vanguard edition that it was. So yeah, worth the price.
Yeah, worth the price.
Nice.
And also, I think they did the development right. They never did like early access for the rest of it. Like they kept it their guns and did a really good release, as good as they could. So I think, yeah, good for them to get some money now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure they're making fucking millions, to be honest, with the amount of sales.
I love it.
Top wishlisted game and all that. Anyway, right. Worth the price. Next. Bugs.
There are some.
There are some.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a terrarium.
Can get annoying here.
Yeah, definitely not a terrarium for bugs. I've actually, you know what? I've not actually noticed that many. I know beta and press release had more, for sure. And I know that the team has been working very, very hard to try and crack them between the press release and the actual game release. And I still know that there's always hot fixes, patches, everything. But I've actually not experienced too many.
I think if I had to look at it, I'm getting like one game-breaking match a day and like 6 or 7 hours of play. So like that's like let's say every 10 matches, I'm probably getting at least one where I just can't play because I'm getting a bug that won't let me spawn units. So it's definitely not minor bugs right now. In release week, can get annoying.
Definitely can
I'm pretty tolerant of that. I'm pretty tolerant of that. But if you're someone who's going to like get really mad when you can't play a match because you just got bugged out and you're going to lose elo, yeah, definitely some bugs right now.
But of course, the biggest problem is the fact that it's not just one person experiencing these bugs. There's 10 players in a battle to worry about. And the chances of one of them getting issues are kind of high. I'd say definitely, maybe, if you solo queue, which obviously I wouldn't recommend it, guys. A lot of people drop out of those games. But if you solo queue, I think it is a safe bet that 4 out of 5 matches, at least one person will disconnect, which might be their fault, might not be, but it's fucking annoying.
if you count people like rage quitting as well, yes, yeah.
Definitely. Well, exactly. There's no penalty for rage quitting, which is a personal bug of mine. Not a bug in the sense of this question, but it is. Yeah.
Well, I've heard they do it because of the bugs. Is because they've got the bugs and disconnects right now. They haven't put in lever penalties.
Yeah, they don't want to punish
punish
people who actually suffer for real. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit awkward right now, but I think we're all hoping for the time when the bugs go away and they can put lever penalties in. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Again, so the hard game to run is probably a correlation of the bugs. There will be some correlation of that. So yeah, those are the two things, and a little bit of the price that the game does not have going for it. But otherwise, so far so good, which kindly and nicely ties us up to our last one, which is the final score out of 10. Should we say it on 3? Our scores.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah.
I hope we get the same number. But it won't be the end of the world if we don't, because we just call it 0.5 of whatever it is in the middle.
Yeah, I think we're going to be one off.
Potentially. All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, 9.
10. Oh! 9. I was going to go 9 to be realistic, but I just love the game too much. So I went for 10.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I really, really, really want to give it a 10. Mate, I'd love to give it an 11, right? Shout out to my wife. She's an 11 out of 10. Love you.
Same for mine.
Nice. But the thing is, as we just discussed, the bugs and the fact that you do need quite a beefy computer to run this well, like really well, on Ultra, basically, does let it down slightly. But otherwise, every other part of it, I love it. So why the 10?
Yeah, you have the correct rating. You have the objectively
mature values. Yeah,
exactly. That's why I was going between 9 or 10. But for me personally, it's just especially coming from like such a long, all these games. This is kind of the game that I think I would have dreamed about existing as a kid. It's like if you made a movie,
100%.
Like this is the game they're playing, that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that's why I give it a 10. Is because I'm being biased. I'm just being like, even of all that, it's a 10 for me because it's just unlike anything else. I just love it too
Well, that's
much.
the thing. I really want to say 10. I really, really do.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've got to be a bit more objective and restrained in our emotions and think about it from an overall point of view, which it is a shame. It is a shame. I would love to give it a 10, but I just can't.
Yeah.
Are you sticking to your
Listen
guns?
to Lima. Lima is correct. I'll stick to my guns for me, but Lima has the
Good lad.
mature and responsible take.
But hey, on average, obviously, I'm not a maths expert, but I think that makes it 9.5, which is still pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. 2 experts agree. Can we call ourselves experts?
Maybe you, maybe not me.
You're in the army. You're an officer. You should be the real expert on this genre.
For God's sake, it's just a game. I think
Is that
people
the
got to
opposite
remember to take everything I say with a pinch of salt because, it's not like real life at all.
It's like the opposite thing where, like, you know, where people would be like, you know, I've played Call of Duty, I can be in the army, and you laugh at them. It's like the opposite, where like you're like, oh, I'm an British officer, and we're like, oh, fuck off, it's a game, like we don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, that's why I think it is actually perfect having me and you work together because you're the the pro gamer bro, and I'm the try hard little army virgin wannabe. No,
Interesting description. Don't edit that out. Leave that in. That's a hell of a label.
Yeah, I mean, I think people might be able. It's easy to become a bit try hard and try to be very turbo thrusty. Sorry, some military slang coming out finally. About the whole situation, but don't worry, guys. I am grounded. I'm not absolutely, going to cringe my face off talking about things or pretending that I know more than I don't. Because, like I said, I am just a potentially to mid-low level officer. I don't obviously know. I'm not a general. I don't know everything. But again, obviously, you do pick stuff up. So it is important to take what I say with a pinch of salt, for sure.
But I find it very interesting, and I look forward to playing with you and maybe chatting more because I feel like we get on pretty well.
Yeah, we do. Good chemistry, mate.
Thank you. Good chemistry, you. And I think like the way you approach this is really good in that sense because I actually think this is a different breed of strategy game. It's a really strategic game. Maybe I'm glazing it, but I really think so. And so I think your approach is actually the correct one. Because a lot of times I've had to unlearn my video game habits of how I try to play this as a video game. And go, no, actually, if I approach this from my milsim side, from my intermilitary history side, the game's easier. Because it's when you just get lost in the stats, you can forget to do some things that are simple. And if you refer to how things work in the real world, even though this game isn't realistic, you'll find that, or I find that actually, my orders and tactics and strategy tend to be better because this game is kind of intuitive like that.
Exactly. It definitely helps to have a bit of a plan. Obviously, no plan survives first contact, but a general idea of what you want to achieve and sort of the objectives. Because obviously, if you've worked towards a goal, it's easier to have a clear focus of what you want. And again, as we discussed, it's super easy to get sucked in on microing that you just, it saps all your capacity and you completely lose sight of that. And you basically end up just being reactive, just they have a tank, okay, I'll bring in anti-tank. They've got a helicopter, anti-helicopter, but you end up just being reactive and not actually making much progress sometimes. So
yes,
that is definitely something that taking one step back is definitely something that is indoctrinated into officers, I'd say in general, and being able to see the bigger picture. So yeah, I do enjoy that some of the lessons that I've learned from my work obviously apply to the sort of general attitude, my approach to strategy, as opposed to me actually being good at the game. But I think it helps.
I think it makes you in a legitimately, like, uniquely interesting and good position to be someone to watch for this game. Absolutely. Like, I legitimately think not every game you can apply like military teachings just because it's a military looking game. This is a game where I think you actually have an advantage in that sense, and one that a lot of us don't have, and I'm really interested to watch you play.
Yeah, nice, mate. Well, I'm excited to play with you. I think we're going to do some some magic together, not to make it sound sexual, but don't worry, guys. We're a continent apart. Nothing's going to happen.
That's right. But
keep it PG.
yeah, I mean, we definitely need. I think we need to play soon by the sound of it.
100%.
You play US,
mate.
right, mainly? Or do you play Russia
No,
half and half?
both. I mean, I'll be honest. So far, I'm loving Russia a bit more. And
Ah.
maybe that's just because my just because of luck of the draw and the battles I've had, they've tended to
Mhm.
be a bit more successful. But I like both sides, to be honest. Basically, again, not to suck up to both sides, but both sides have definitely got strong strengths and weaknesses, right? As with everything,
Yes.
it is. I think they are quite well balanced. That's the thing.
Yes.
So
I agree. Good
yeah,
asymmetric balancing of this game. It's
yeah.
easy to grass is greener, but when you've played both sides a little bit of this game, they have different things they're good at for sure.
Exactly, and they're asymmetric, so they're not just like they both have good tanks or they both have good helicopters. They are very varied because of the East versus West. They're two completely different ways of thinking. Not completely, but they are two different ways of thinking about war and warfare, and that is obviously reflected in the doctrine, which is obviously reflected in the units that are made. So yeah, honestly, I love the variety. So I'm mega happy to play either side.
Oh, cool. Well, I only play US at the moment, so you'll have to play
Hey, come
US
on, you
with
got to
me.
try out the Russians.
At some point, I do. Yes, I'm going to make mechanized deck of BMPs is my plan. So yes,
Nice. I mean, you can't let your Russian fans down. Do you know what your percentage of Russian viewers is?
I don't, but I know that ever since I played Operation Flashpoint and then Arma 2 and all that, because I played those games, I do like that kind of traditional Russian tech of like BMPs and stuff. So I do want to make a traditional kind of like mech deck.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, for those guys who don't know anything about YouTubers, right? YouTube's got great analytics tools, which shows you, I mean, to be honest, literally everything. And I'm just on the website, on the studio right now, looking at analysis, and you can see, which I find super interesting, where the viewers are from. So I've got 17%. Obviously, it doesn't show if you don't have your location set, etc., and obviously respect your privacy. But if you do switch it on, it is really cool to see. So I've got 17%, 18%, we'll round it up, from the United Kingdom. So thank you, my fellow countrymen and patriots. Americans, you make up almost 14%, which is nice. Germans 5%, so danke schön. And Russia is 3%, so spasiba tоварищи. With India and many other countries as well. Australia, 1.3%, which I hope is just you.
Yeah, I'm all of them. Where do you see this? I'll look at mine. I'm on my YouTube studio.
Well, do you want to share it? Or do you want to send me a
screen
picture?
share?
I'll edit it in. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know where to find it. Where did you click?
Oh, well, here's me teaching you something. So click on Analytics.
Yes. Analytics.
See more.
Audience. Oh, see more. Okay.
And then Geography.
I can do the same breakdown. So I have 38.7% United States. So they're the lion's share. And then I have 7.4% United Kingdom, 6.4% Germany, 4.1 Canada, 3.9 Australia, 2.6 Russia, and 1.9 Netherlands, Sweden, Poland. Then it goes down from there. France, Spain, Brazil, Thailand.
Cool.
And then Italy's my sub 1%. I never looked at that before. So there you go.
Oh, well, there you go. You learned something from the fresh keen YouTuber as well. It's interesting because actually, whilst I've got more views from the United Kingdom, America has got almost 3 times as many watch hours. So you English boys are clearly not watching my videos to the end.
Gotta go out and play football.
Well, of course, yeah. So, you know what? I've just typed in average view duration, and Croatia, Hrvatska, you guys are the most loyal in terms of average view duration, as well as Israel and New Zealand, interestingly enough.
Good job, Croatia. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. You guys are nice. I've actually been to Croatia before. Lovely country. I do love it and would recommend a visit. Very lovely people. Which shows.
I went to Romania once, and I was shocked how cold it was.
Cold?
To be in snow.
When did you go?
Yeah, because
in the winter.
I don't know, but there was snow. Yeah, I must have been in the winter. I don't know.
Well,
there's no snow in Australia, so I was very surprised.
Breaking news by Beagle: in the winter, there's snow,
and it's cold.
No way. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, nobody knew this.
Welcome to Europe, son. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it has. We should do it again. We should play, and also we should, if you want to, we should talk more regularly like this. If you'd like to do this again in the future.
Sure, and we'll see how the video does. Hopefully, very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks,
Hopefully,
mate.
yeah. No worries. If I do something to this, I might come knocking and ask for the first quarter of your recording because I didn't have your voice
No
on for the
worries.
first bit. I realized when we were introducing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
I didn't
thanks
have
for
the
that.
first like
I know
10,
you probably got to
15
run.
minutes either, but yeah.
That's all right.
Cool.
Yeah, I know you probably got to run, but yeah. Anytime you want to do something with me, just ping. This was great. Very nice
Yeah,
to meet you.
absolutely. And cheers to everyone for watching. So see ya.
See ya.
Bye.